Welcome to this week's discussion where we're focusing specifically on Pesach, on the holiday of Passover, which starts on Saturday night. And we have a tremendous guest who I think at this point needs no introduction for anybody watching this. Hen Mazzig. Hen, thank you for spending some time and sharing your wisdom with us about Pesach.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam. It's a pleasure.
So just to jump right into it, I'm really curious if as we're getting ready for Pesach, if you have any hot takes about Pesach. What's your sort of hot take here?
Um, well, in terms of tradition, I think everyone should have ate rice. I don't think it should be controversial. Um, I never understood my Ashkenazi friends that weren't. Like, it never made sense to me. Is it a hot take? Maybe. And also that the Iraqi charoset that my grandma made is the best charoset there is.
Oh, okay. This one, I'm in 100% agreement with you. If anybody watching has never had Iraqi charoset, it's life changing. It is so much better.
Really is, and like we eat it with like the matzah and the lettuce and everything. And I think just the lettuce, it's so sweet, and the lettuce with it, and it's like date syrup and nuts and everything. It's just incredible. Yeah, everyone should try an Iraqi khawaset at least once.
I agree with you 100%. And what about family tradition? I know it's my favorite holiday. It's always been my favorite holiday, partially because of the family connections and traditions. What is your favorite part of Pesach?
Yeah, it's absolutely that part. I mean, the coming together as a family, um, and just being together, and you know. I was closer to my Iraqi mother's family than I mean of course I'm close to my Tunisian father but family, but we always spend the holidays mostly at my mother's family, and there people think that like Real Housewives are dramatic, but I'm telling you, this family, it's like just drama nonstop. And like Pesach was the one time that they all came together and just like overlooked everything. There was a lot of like build up to it, like where it's gonna be, who's gonna make food. And mind you, there's 12 brothers and sisters in my mother's side, so it's like really big family. And yeah, I really loved that. I mean, I think more there was more attendance on Passover than there was even on Rosh Hashanah or any other holiday. So it was like really the central holiday. And yeah, of course, like the kids looking for the afikoman um, and all of the traditions, and the fact that we keep a seat for Eliyahu Hanavi, which is like so beautiful and so um, similar to many indigenous cultures that are leaving a seat at their table to the ancestors. So I mean, that's what we're doing. And there's just so much history and so much to talk about. I mean, but yeah, that's really what I love about it.
I would love to hear from you something that is related to Pesach. So we read the Haggadah, we read the story of Pesach, which in a lot of ways, I think not a lot of less traditional, so like non-Orthodox Jews realize the Haggadah is really it's a straight up Talmud discussion about the holiday, understanding the rituals and the history and why we tell the story the way we do. But there's so many themes within the Haggadah about freedom, about what it means to be redeemed from slavery. One of my personal favorites is the opening vignette of Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Akiva, who are debating until sunrise what it means to have freedom. I love the imagery of that. What is resonant to you at this moment with everything going on right now? Something in the Passover liturgy and our story, what resonates with you?
Passover just really is centered around this notion that the Seder isn't just retelling the history of the Jews and the story of the Exodus. As many people said it before, but for me, it's really, I mean, it's a personal re-experiencing of liberation, really. The Agada is telling that in every generation, one is obligated to see themselves as though they personally left Egypt. So it's like it's not just a metaphor. It's invitation to internalize the journey from bondage to freedom and recognize that Egypt's within our own lives and striving for personal redemption and to fight to break those shackles that are holding us down. So I think that just this perspective of it's not just a story. You are experiencing it every day. It's so much of Jewish teaching is about it, but I think the Seder is really there's really emphasis on it throughout the Agada and throughout I mean, everything we do is to not just remind us. Of course, we need to remember it, but we need to see ourselves as going into freedom. And of course, it ties into today when we have 59 hostages that are held for 2 years. It's going to be their almost 2 years, sorry. It's going to be their second seder in captivity. And, freedom feels like a fractured word in these days because they've remained in darkness and captivity, and the rest of us are going to sit around the table with our families and tell our stories. Um, and speak about freedom and how can we open our door for Eliyahu and for strangers and they are remaining in captivity.
A very beautiful, powerful, and poignant internalization of each and every one of us having to put ourselves in that mindset, not something that happened external to us, not something that is outside of ourselves, but we have to put ourselves in that place. Chen, thank you. As we close out, I just want to give my own note of Mazal Tov and Yasher Koach on And They're Jewish. It's incredible. I love watching the journey. I love watching the Jewish pride, the reimagining of telling Jewish stories. So thank you for using your voice to be able to share that. If anybody watching has not watched it yet, I'm going to link to it below. You have to watch it. So Chen, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for doing this. This is so important, and I'm hoping that every Jewish person out there would listen, and those that are disenfranchised or not as connected would find their connection and through those words. I'm a big fan of the show. I keep following it, so thank you for doing this.
I just want to show people that Torah has modern relevance and it's accessible for everybody. There's no barrier. Anybody and everybody can and does have access to find individual meaning, purpose, and connection to everything in our tradition. So that's my goal.
I love that.
Awesome.
All right.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.